Have you ever felt a sudden, cold panic just as you were finally about to win? It's the strange urge to trip yourself at the finish line, right when the gold is in reach. We call it the fear of success, the quiet sabotage of your own greatest potential. Meet Julian. He's an incredible artist who always finds a way to ruin his best work. He believes that if he actually succeeds, his entire life will change in ways he can't control. But beneath that paint-stained apron, Julian is living in a prison made of what-ifs. Why do we do this? Why is the light of success sometimes more terrifying than the dark of failure? The truth is, success brings a new level of visibility that feels like a dangerous spotlight. It's the subconscious fear that if you rise too high, the fall will be much more painful. If I stay average, I am safe, but if I become great, I have everything to lose. Maybe you grew up in a world where being too much was seen as a threat to others. A child who learned to dim their own light so they wouldn't make anyone else feel small. So you became a master of almost, staying just below the radar to avoid the weight of expectations. But you must remember that shrinking yourself doesn't actually help the world around you. You attract opportunity, but you treat it like a ticking bomb that you need to defuse. And when a big door finally opens, you find a clever reason to stay exactly where you are. The success gap is a lonely place where the hero chooses safety over their own destiny. You spend your energy creating excuses instead of creating the life you actually dream of. But here is the real secret. The new you on the other side of success is still just you. Fear of success is the ego's way of trying to protect a version of you that no longer exists. He doesn't realize that by holding back his art, he's starving his own soul of its purpose. When you pull back at the last second, you rob yourself of the experience of your own power. You make your life a series of could-haves, and in doing so, you become a ghost of your talent. Your identity is so tied to the struggling artist that you fear the reality of the master. Who am I if I'm not the one who is always trying, you ask in the quiet hours. The answer is exhilarating because success is simply the next step in your natural evolution. But that version of you, the one who finishes and launches, is the one that actually lives. The saboteur needs to be saved from the exhaustion of constantly fighting their own progress. Look at the projects you've accidentally dropped. Was it bad luck, or was it a choice? Often we use self-sabotage to keep our world predictable and within our comfort zone. It's a survival instinct disguised as modesty, a way to stay in the shallow water where it's safe. But life isn't about staying safe, it's about testing the true depth of your own internal ocean. Julian finally stops. He looks at his ruined painting and realizes he was the only obstacle. The moment he decides to finish the work, the invisible chains on his hands finally break. Accepting your greatness isn't an act of vanity, it's an act of profound service to your gift. You cannot inspire anyone if you are constantly hiding your own achievements under a cloth. It's time to take all that sabotage energy and turn it inward toward your own internal courage. Imagine what would happen if you welcomed your success with the same warmth you give a friend. Imagine standing on a stage and knowing you belong there because you did the difficult work. Julian starts to paint with bold final strokes, no longer afraid of the final result. He learns that he is allowed to be famous or successful and still be a human who learns. The road to personal fulfillment always starts with completion, the brave act of finishing. Let the world see, let the critics speak, let your true light be seen by everyone around you. Your job is to be a beacon, not a hidden candle, a winner, not a permanent runner-up. The more you finish what you start, the less you feel the need to hide from your own light. Authentic joy happens when you stop hesitating and start simply being as big as you are. Julian finally opens his gallery door, and for the first time, he feels the warmth of the sun. He realizes that he was never afraid of failure, he was just afraid of his own bright future. And that is perfectly okay. Being large is enough. You don't need to stay small to be safe. We are all navigating this vast potential together, and the world needs your finished work. Leo's Notes is about finding the internal strength to stop apologizing for your own brilliance. I'm just a guy who spent years staying in the shadows because the sun felt way too bright. I learned that the only real failure is never allowing yourself to truly, fully succeed. The journey from saboteur to achiever is a beautiful and necessary transformation. But on the other side, there is a peace that no safe choice could ever provide. Next time you feel that urge to quit right before the end, just stop and take a breath. Ask yourself, am I actually tired, or am I just afraid of how much I'm about to win? Stay bright in your mind and keep your steady hands on your own steering wheel of destiny. You are a master, not a mistake. You are absolutely enough, just as you are right now. This was Leo's Notes. I'll see you in the next one. Stay bold.